So in this lecture we'll discuss about the analysis of circuits using mutual inductance. So we are discussing about the magnetically coupled circuits. So far we have discussed what is the self-inductance, mutual inductance, then how to apply dot convention to know the polarity of mutual voltage developed. So once we know how to assign polarity to the mutual voltage, then we can move on to the circuit analysis of coupled circuits. So here the circuit analysis, in the sense we can use mesh analysis, node analysis, etc. up to analyze the circuit, that is to determine the voltage or currents in the circuit. So circuit analysis involving mutual inductance. So now that we know how to determine the polarity of mutual voltage, we are prepared to analyze circuits involving mutual inductance. So let us consider this circuit first. This circuit. So here you can see that we have two coils L1 and L2 which are placed in close proximity. So this becomes a mutually coupled circuit. So for coil 1 self-inductance is L1 and for coil 2 self-inductance is L2. So these are magnetically coupled coils. So we will be having a mutual inductance. So that is denoted here M. Okay, so the first part of the circuit is we have a voltage source V1 connected to resistance R1 and L1. And then second part is L2 connected with R2 and another source V2. Okay, so in first part of the circuit, the current flow direction is like this, and the second part of the it is like this. So it is in anti-clockwise direction, right? So this is important. The direction of current is important because that will determine the polarity of this mutual voltage. Now, so let us consider this first circuit. Now we can apply Kirchhoff's voltage law to coil 1. So Kirchhoff's voltage law is, so this is one loop. So the sum of voltages across individual elements in a loop is 0. Okay, so how can we do that is V1, this is source. So V1 is equal to this one. V1 is equal to current through the resistor is I1. So drop across the resistance is I1 R1, apply Ohm's law. Okay, I1 R1 plus L1 di1 by dt. We know that because of this coil there is a self-inductance voltage and mutual inductance voltage. So that is what is written here. So the voltage across this L1 is actually, due to self-inductance, it is L1 di1 by dt plus M into di2 by dt. Now how we get plus here is, look at the dot convention. So here in the first part of the circuit, the current enters the dotted terminal. Okay, current enters the dotted terminal here. So in the other part of the circuit, this terminal is positive, right? And moreover here also we can see that the current enters the dotted terminal. Okay, so here the mutual voltage is positive. So according to Kirchhoff's voltage law, we will get this equation. V1 will be equal to drop across this resistance and plus drop across the coil 1 L1. Okay, so that is written here. Similarly for coil 2, we have voltage source V2. So V2 is equal to drop across this resistance and drop across the coil 2. Okay, so again if you see the dot convention, in this coil the current enters the dotted terminal. So this terminal is positive, and moreover the same here, current I1 also enters this terminal. Okay, so the mutual voltage is positive here. So V2 is equal to I2 R2 plus L2 di2 by dt, the self inductance in this and current in this, so L2 di2 by dt plus M into di1 by dt, mutual inductance due to coil 1. Okay, so it is M di1 by dt. So these are the two equations. Now if we write the equation, these two equations in frequency domain, this is how we will write it. So frequency domain, all this time varying voltages will be represented by phasor, so we'll be representing it like a vector or a capital letter, right? So here instead of v1 small v1, it is capital V1, plus for resistance it is R1, plus inductance L1, so impedance is j omega L1, right? So R1 plus j omega L1 into I1, you can see the current I1 is common for these two, so R1 plus j omega L1 into I1 plus j omega M, this is mutual inductance, right? So for similar to self inductance, mutual inductance in frequency domain is represented as j omega M. Okay, so j omega M into I2. Similarly for this equation, V2 will be represented by capital V2 is equal to current I1, so current I1 M di1 by dt, so j omega M into I1, see j omega M into I1 plus R2 plus j omega L2 into I2, R2 plus j omega L2 into I2. I is represented as phasor, V is also represented as phasor, and the values of resistance, inductance and capacitance, all those things will be represented in frequency domain. Okay, represented as impedances. Now let us consider the another example. So this is the second part of the circuit, that is another example. So here also first part of the circuit we have, you can see that this circuit is represented in frequency domain. You can see the voltage, it is in phasor. Okay, and Z1 is represented, Z1 is an impedance. Okay, similarly all the inductance and mutual inductance, self inductance are represented as impedances. Okay, so here again we will write KVL equations for this first part of the circuit and second part of the circuit, that is for coil 1 and coil 2. Okay, so apply KVL for coil 1. So again V will be equal to Z1 into I1. Now you should notice the direction of current in this circuit. So in this first part of the circuit, that is for coil 1, current is in clockwise direction and it enters the dotted terminal, right? Whereas if you look at this coil 2, you can see the current is again in clockwise direction but it leaves the dotted terminal. Okay, so in one part of the circuit the current enters the dotted terminal, in the other part of the circuit the current leaves the dotted terminal. Now what will happen to the polarity of this mutual voltage? It is negative. Whereas here if you look at this, both the current enters the dotted terminal, so the polarity is positive. Whereas here current enters the dotted terminal in one coil and in the other coil current leaves the dotted terminal, so the mutual voltage is negative, Now so before writing the KVL equations, first you have to determine what is the polarity of this mutual voltage, then we can write the equations. So apply KVL to first coil 1. So here V will be equal to Z1 into I1 plus j omega L1 into I1 minus j omega M into I2. Okay, so in coil 1 there is self inductance voltage plus mutual inductance voltage due to this coil 2, so that is what is represented here. And for coil 2, we don't have any voltage, all are the circuit elements. So 0 is equal to, if you consider this mutual inductance, that is for a coil, mutual inductance, it is minus j omega m into I1, because mutual inductance in coil 2 is due to current I1. Okay, so minus j omega m into I1 plus we have a load here ZL plus j omega L2 into I2. Okay, so this is how we write the analysis equation. Then as usual we can solve these equations. Okay, we know the values of V, I, Z, L. Okay, then we can solve for these equations. Now it is actually difficult to write the polarity of this mutual voltage, right? Polarity of this mutual voltage directly by looking at dot conventions. So what we will be doing is, that is we will write or make an equivalent circuit. For that first, then we will move on to write the equations. Okay, so this is the circuit which is given in the first part of the circuit, right? So both the current in the second part of the circuit, right? So in coil 1 the current I1 enters the daughter terminal, and in coil 2 the current I2 leaves the daughter terminal. Okay, now so what we will be doing is, first we know that in coil 1 there is a voltage due to self inductance and mutual inductance. Similarly, due to in coil I2 we have a voltage due to self inductance and mutual inductance. So for coil 1, so self inductance will be with the respective current j omega L1 and j omega L2. So this is self inductance for coil 1 and 2. Whereas for mutual inductance, the currents involved are opposite. For coil 1, current in coil 2 will be involved. Whereas for coil 2, current in coil 1 will be involved. You can see that here it is I2 and here it is I1. Okay. So first we will draw the equivalent of this. Okay. So here you can see that this second model, it is represented as a dependent source. Mutual inductance is represented as a dependent source, and notice that we didn't have, we are not including the polarities here. Okay, so the reason is, first we will determine the value of the voltages. That is, value of voltages is, what is this? J omega m1, j omega L1, j omega L2, j omega m I2, j omega m I1. These are the values. First we will write this, then we will give the polarities for these two mutual inductances. Okay, so here we know that I1, it induces, see here, the clearly I1 induces a voltage within the second coil represented by the value of j omega I1, and I2 induces a voltage of j omega I2 in the first coil. That is what I have told you now, right? So current I1 induces a voltage in coil 2, and current I2 induces a voltage in coil 1. So that is what is given here. Okay, so once we know this, then we can put the polarities here. Now this is clear, right? How this self and mutual inductance are derived. Here we have written, no, this is what we are trying to use here. Okay, so next is, since I1 enters L1 at the dotted end, it induces a voltage in L2 that tries to force a current out of the dotted end of L2, which means that the source must have a plus on the top and a minus on the bottom as shown. Now take current I1. So current I1 enters L1 at the dotted end. Okay, now we know the convention of dot convention, right? So if this enters at this end, what happens? Since I1 enters L1 at the dotted end, it induces a voltage in L2. It induces a voltage in L2 that tries to force the current out of this L2. Okay, so here if you look at this, current enters, I1 enters here, right? So according to dot convention, wherever the dot is placed, so this terminal will be positive, right? So that is what is given here. So positive and negative, right? Clear? Now, so this polarity. Now take the second case. So here current I2, right? So the current I2 here leaves the dotted terminal. So here it leaves the dotted terminal. So in the other coil, wherever the dot is placed, that will be negative, right? So here you can see that here it is minus plus, right? So is it clear how? So is it clear how these polarities are arrived? You can see. So here I am telling you once more, the current I1 enters the dotted terminal of L1. So in coil 2, wherever the dot is placed, that terminal is positive, right? So here it is positive. So the polarity is positive and negative. Okay. So whereas here second one, current I2 leaves the dotted terminal. So here the dot is here. So what happens to this dot? The polarity is negative because the current leaves the dotted terminal here. So it is minus plus. Okay. So once we are clear with this, we can directly write the equations. We are directly apply the KVL equation. So next we will discuss a numerical problem. Then will be somewhat clear. So here calculate the phasor currents I1 and I2 in the circuit shown. So this is the circuit given. The given circuit is in frequency domain, no problem. But so first is we have to derive the equivalent circuit first. We have a coupled coils here. So let us derive the equivalent circuit first, right? So equivalent circuit is, we will be drawing two dependent sources. First we will determine the magnitude of these, right? They have given the magnitude of mutual inductance as J3. Okay, so we are writing the coupled coils as self inductance plus mutual inductance. Self inductance and mutual inductance. Again self inductance and mutual inductance. So for coil 1, take coil 1. Self inductance value is J5. So J5. Current through the circuit is I1. Okay, and mutual inductance is J3 they have given. So J3, and mutual inductance in coil 1 will be due to current in coil 2. So it is J3I2. Okay, so this is a dependent source. And similarly in the second coil, self inductance value is J6. So we are written as J6, and we have drawn a dependent source. The value of the dependent source is mutual inductance value is J3. So J3 into current in coil 1 is I1. It is I1. So now the values are clear, right? Next is we have to put the polarities here. Now again go for the dot conventions. In coil 1, the current I1 enters the dotted terminal. Okay, so look at coil 2 here. The dot is available here. So this terminal is positive. So the voltage polarity is positive and negative. Okay. Next is, look at this current I2. Current I2 here leaves the dotted terminal, right? So what happens to this dot? If current in coil 1 leaves the dotted terminal, then dotted terminal in coil 2 will be treated as negative, so it is negative positive. Okay, so this is the polarities. Now we can directly apply KVL equations and solve the problem. So consider this, take loop 1, this is loop 1, apply KVL, voltage value is 12 volts, so 12, this is in polar form, converted into rectangular form, and apply and write the KVL equation. So voltage of 12 volt is equal to drop across this plus this. Okay, similarly in the second coil, write the KVL equation. We have 3 elements, so 3 elements is equal to 0, right? Then solve for I1 and I2 as usual. So this is how we'll be solving the numerical problems involving mutual inductances.